This video is about converting metric area and volume. And I've started by looking at our table here of conversions that we use pretty frequently. I also went ahead and wrote a mnemonic device across the top. It's a way to remember the prefixes. So King Henry died by drinking chocolate milk. Some versions have Monday here because we use meter so frequently. King Henry died Monday for meter, drinking chocolate milk. Right now this by stands for our base unit. So we could put grams or amps or meters or liters, whatever in there. Normally, if we're doing something like converting from a centimeter to a millimeter, what we can do is we can just look and see how many places over that number is. Since we're going from an exponent of -2 to an exponent of -3, or in decimal numbers going from 0.01 or 1/100th down to 1/1000th, that's just one place over. So normally we would simply move the decimal one place to the right. However, in this first problem, that's not what we're doing. We're moving from centimeters squared to millimeters squared. We can think of this almost as moving a centimeter to a millimeter at a time and just doing it twice. So our normal one hop gets doubled and we move two places. So that means 4.5 square centimeters becomes 4 and then 2 decimal hops, which is 450 square millimeters. Let's do another problem. If we have 500 square centimeters, and I want to change that to square meters, I see normally I would just move or hop 2 places to the left. Instead, I'm going to double that. Double the hops. And we're going to move 4 places to the left. So starting with the number 500 and moving the decimal 4 places, lands the decimal right there. And we fill in the missing hop with a 0. So 500 square centimeters equals 0.05 square meters. Let's look at volume. So a useful fact is that 1 milliliter is equivalent to 1 cubic centimeter. Cubic centimeter is sometimes abbreviated as cc, cubic centimeter. So 50 cubic centimeters, since it's a 1:1 conversion, I know that 50 cubic centimeters is equivalent to 50 milliliters. Cubic centimeters to milliliters. However, that's not the unit that I want to end up with. I want to end up with liters. So think about your King Henry died Monday by drinking chocolate milk. Again, going from milliliters to liters, I know that there's 1,000 milliliters in a liter. That's a 1 with 3 zeros. That's a 3 decimal place hop. So starting at 50 and moving the decimal 3 places to the left, and you can go ahead and draw out your metric table if that would make this easier. So 3 places to the left, and we end up with 0.05 liters. 50 cubic centimeters of liquid is the same thing as 50 milliliters of liquid. It's the same thing as 0.05 liters. Another useful tidbit, though we won't do a problem with it now, is 1 hectare is an area of a square 100 meters on a side. This should make sense because hect is the unit meaning 100 meters. Before going to the next slide, I wanted to point out one more thing. When we talked about area, we had to double the number of hops, but that was when we were going from a square unit to a square unit. Here, where we're going just from straight milliliters to liters, This is already a capacity, but it's not a unit squared or cubed. That means we didn't need to increase the number of hops. That's different than from this next problem, where we have 1,230 cubic centimeters, and we want to convert that to cubic meters. So again, since we have 3 centimeters cubed, and what I mean by that is this is the same thing as 1,200 centimeters times centimeters times centimeters. So it's as if we need to do 2 hops, 2 hops, 2 hops, for a total of 6 decimal place hops to go from cubic centimeters to cubic meters. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Our decimal followed by 2 zeros and then the number 1, 2, 3. So this is equivalent to 0.00123 cubic meters. The units can tell us about what we're measuring. So out of these choices, cubic meters, liters, milliliters, and so on, let's choose the most appropriate metric unit for these 3 things. For the cargo space of a pickup truck. Cargo space is not just the footprint, it's the entire volume in the back of a pickup truck. Pause the video and pick the most appropriate measure for these 3 things. For the cargo space of a pickup truck, I need to pick a capacity measurement. My capacity measurements are those first 3. These last 3 are all length measurements. Out of these 3, the first one is the most appropriate for the cargo space of a pickup truck. For the paint needed to paint a house, milliliters would be too small, but I think liters is appropriate. A cubic meter of paint, since a meter is approximately 3 feet, that would be a giant tub of paint. That's more than we need. For the size of a farm, oh, I said length, I meant area. Sorry. For the size of a farm, I think it would be a pretty tiny, I think it would be more of a garden if we measured it in square meters. It'd be more of a pot if we measured it in square centimeters. So hectares, H-A, hectaacres, are the way that we're going to go. Thank you.